This is the 17-in-1 Swisstech Praktisch multi-tool. This comes in around $40 on AliExpress, and it actually ships from Walmart's website to your home, so you can get this a lot faster. I would characterize this almost like the Leatherman Charge clone, because there are some more upgraded features. Let's go ahead and take a look. First of all, you'll notice that the pouch is a little bit better than some of the other pouches that we get. It's a snap pouch, and it feels like leather, but it could be it's fake. But you can use this, it looks like both ways, either horizontal or vertical on your belt, and it seems like a pretty good pouch. As far as the tool itself, I like the accents with the red and the black. I also like the textured handles, which is definitely a departure from most multi-tools. Again, it reminds you of something you would see more on a Charge, but it almost reminds me of a spray-on truck bed liner, that sort of textured feel. I'm not sure if that's what it is, but it sort of reminds me of that. It doesn't seem rough. I don't think it will damage whatever clothes you have it in, but it does give a little bit more texture. When we move to the outside tools, we have the serrated knife blade. We have the regular knife blade, and you'll notice these ridges in here, which seems to be a hallmark of Swisstech. And then on the opposite side, you'll have a saw, which seems to have fairly sharp teeth. And then on this side, you'll have the file. Now, one of the things I noticed about the file is on this side it looks fairly normal, but the cuts on this side look a little bit different to me. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but they just look a little bit abnormal for a multi-tool, almost like they're cut too deep or not uniform, and so keep that in mind. Now, as we close this, we can turn to the inside of the multi-tool, and you'll notice a couple things. These are not spring-loaded pliers, which Leatherman Waves are not either. And also, this harkens back to an earlier generation of the Leatherman Wave when it did not have replaceable cutters. Some people will say this will make the multi-tool stronger. Perhaps it will, but it will disappoint some people as well. I don't know that you have wire crimpers. I guess those are technically, those cutouts right there, wire crimpers at the bottom of the plier handle as well. Now, when we turn to the inside of the tool, there are things a little bit different. We have a flat screwdriver, and all the tools lock on the total tool, which is nice. So we have this right here that locks into place, and then we can unlock this. But then we have a multi-bit Phillips screwdriver. Now, this is reminiscent of Swisstech's keychain multi-tools, where they sort of come apart. And so you have a micro driver that then fits back into the Phillips driver. I sort of like that, but it's a little different as well. I've used it and it seems to work pretty good, but I guess the jury's still out until I try it some more. Now, on the other side of the tool, again, you have a lot of tools reminiscent of Leatherman. You've got your can opener, wire stripper, bottle cap lifter. You do have the round wire cutter instead of the triangle notch. And then you have the scissors, but what is different is this wire strap cutter and the screwdriver on the end. I'm not a huge fan of when they add the screwdriver to the end of the wire strap cutter, and I find myself basically never using the wire strap cutter, but perhaps it is useful to some people, maybe with zip ties and so forth. But I do find when I use these cutters, usually they're not sharp enough to cut extremely quick. And we could perhaps try this on some paracord. Usually I have to exert way too much force. We'll see. Yeah, so I would have to exert a lot of force to make this work. So I'll end up probably knocking the camera over. So we'll leave that for another day. Now, as far as the scissors, let's go ahead and test these out on paracord right here. And I do notice that these work maybe as well as Leatherman Wave scissors do. So they're not awful. It's just you'll have to make several cuts, maybe 2 or 3 to get through paracord. They're not the worst in the world, but they're not the best either. So let's go ahead and close this up. All right, we've got all the tools closed. And then I want to show you some other characteristics or some other things about this. Now I have to say that I do like what SwissTech is doing with the box right here. They're trying to make it look a lot more premium. It has magnet snap closure like SOG did. And then on the inside of the box, they do claim this is Aussie steel. And then they talk about the two-sided file, the spring action scissors, screwdriver, double tooth saw blade, serrated blade, line cutter, Phillips screwdriver, large flathead, and then the pliers as well. And then the sheath will actually come in the back here. And then they share their stories. So it started out as an American company. It was bought by an overseas company. And now they sort of use the American name and recognition and try to sell to the US again. So overall, initial impressions are fairly favorable of this tool. I actually like it for $37. I was not a fan at first because I really liked the first SwissTech I got from Walmart, the SOG baton version. And then I realized it was just a really bad tool. And I think a lot of that had to do with they copied SOG's baton, which was not good to begin with. And so SwissTech's version didn't fix anything. It was essentially a copy. But with copying Leatherman's Wave, which is a great tool, this has turned out so far to be a lot better tool. I don't want to say too many good things about it because I haven't tested it. I want to carry this with me for a month or so and then do another review. Probably out to the grocery store, and I don't think this is a work tool because it doesn't have any 1/4-inch bit driver. Even though I guess I could try this out at work. Perhaps I will. Let me know your thoughts about this. At $37, I definitely like the looks of this. It's something a little bit different than just the standard, exactly almost similar looking wave clones. So I like what they've done, but we'll have to see if it's really worth that $40. See you in the next video.